Do you really know what taxes to pay if you have a US LLC? In this video, you're going to learn about 7 different types of taxes for an LLC owned by a non-resident. I know 7 sounds like a lot, but don't worry. You may not be liable to pay most of these taxes. And I'm not giving you tax or financial advice, I'm just going to give you useful information that will give you a better idea about LLC's taxes. And at the end of this video, I'll also show you a free tool that helps you calculate how much taxes you have to pay based on the type of your business. So let's get started. 1. The first type of tax is federal income tax. I'm sure you can guess what this is. This is the tax that you pay to the Internal Revenue Service, aka IRS, in proportion to your income. This usually is the largest chunk of your taxes. The good news here is that not all LLCs owned by non-residents have to pay federal income tax. You only pay when your income is US source. Let me explain what this means. US government looks at the source of your LLC's income before deciding whether to tax it or not. For example, if you offer design, development, or other freelance services to US clients from your home country, then your income is considered non-US source. There is no US tax on it. However, if you have an e-commerce store with a warehouse located in the US, or a SaaS product or mobile app with US customers, then those incomes are considered US sourced. You mostly have to pay tax on it. I say mostly because if your home country has a tax treaty with the US, then your LLC could be exempt from paying taxes. There is one more way of categorizing your income, as ECI income and FDAP income. I won't get into the details, but ECI is your ordinary income from US businesses, and FDAP is usually passive incomes like rent, dividends, and interests. ECI is taxed at a graduated rate starting from 10% all the way to 37%, and FDAP is taxed at 30%. It's actually a bit hard to calculate all these, but don't worry because the secret tool I'm going to show you at the end of this video will help you estimate all of this. 2. The next type of tax is state income tax. You pay this income tax to the state where your LLC is formed. However, this depends entirely on the state. Some states like Wyoming have no state income taxes at all. And Delaware requires state income tax only if the LLC member is a resident of Delaware and if they have some permanent establishment in Delaware. So for most non-residents living in their home countries, there won't be any state income tax if you form your LLC in Delaware or Wyoming. This is also one of the reasons why non-residents pick Delaware and Wyoming. However, if you register your LLC in other states, you may have to pay income tax even if you are not a resident there. You'll have to check with your state of formation to see how they actually charge state income tax. 3. The next type of tax is state franchise taxes. This is yet another tax paid to your state of formation. Franchise taxes are known by different names. Some call it annual tax, and some call it annual report fees. This is usually a fixed fee that an LLC pays every year. For example, Delaware charges $300 and Wyoming charges $50. Even if your LLC has no income at all, you still have to pay state franchise tax yearly. So think of it as the amount you pay to keep your LLC legal in the state. It's a fixed expense for your LLC. 4. Moving on to the next type of tax, payroll taxes. Payroll tax is a term used to refer to Social Security tax and Medicare taxes combined. It is paid to the IRS when an LLC has a US resident employee or a US resident member. For every employee, the LLC pays 6.2% of the wages as Social Security taxes and 1.45% for Medicare taxes as employer's contribution, and the same 6.2% and 1.45% are deducted from the employee's paycheck as employee's contribution. For every LLC member who is active in LLC management, 15.3% of net income is paid as self-employment taxes. You might think the 7.65% employees pay is much less than the 15.3% LLC members pay, but the 7.65% for every employee is paid twice. Once as the employer's contributions, and the other as the employee's contributions. That makes it the same as the LLC member. 5. The next type of tax for LLCs is state sales tax. Sales tax is paid to the state when a sale happens. So if you have an e-commerce store that sells products in all 50 states, you may have to pay sales tax to each state if you meet each state's minimum requirements. When you meet the minimum requirements of a state, you establish what's known as a sales tax nexus with the state. Sales tax was previously charged only when there were physical products or physical operations involved. But in the last few years, several states have started including digital products and remote sales into the sales tax bracket. That means if you have SaaS or app revenue from US customers, you may have to start paying sales tax to the states where your customers are located. The tax percentage and minimum requirements are dependent on the state, so make sure you do your homework. 6. The next type of tax is corporate income tax. Only LLCs that have elected to be treated as a corporation pay this tax. When an LLC wants the IRS to treat them as a corporation for the purpose of income tax, they file Form 8832 with the IRS. After IRS accepts their request, LLC pays income taxes like a C Corp at corporate income tax rate, which is 21% of the total taxable income. After paying 21% tax at the corporate level, if the money is transferred to the LLC members' personal accounts, it will be taxed again at individual tax rates. That's double taxation. Once at the corporate level and once at the personal level. Nobody likes paying taxes twice. So for that reason, most LLCs don't make this election. They are happy with their default tax status. But for some reason, if you want your LLC to be treated as a corporation, make sure to keep this double taxation issue in mind. 7. And the last type of tax for LLCs is excise tax. Excise taxes are usually paid on the sale of things like fuel, airline tickets, heavy trucks, tobacco, etc. These taxes are paid to the federal government. There is almost a zero chance that non-residents get involved in such businesses, so you mostly don't have to worry about excise taxes. And that's pretty much it. These are all the taxes a non-resident owned LLC would have to pay in the US. I know these are a lot, but keep in mind the two most common ones: federal income tax and state franchise tax. If you find yourself struggling to wrap your head around the whole tax concept and you have no idea what your LLC will have to pay, we have created a super awesome tool to help you out. It is, wait for it, a tax estimator. Okay, the tax estimator might not be that exciting, but it is a super useful tool that asks you questions about your business and finally shows you how much tax you have to pay and all the forms you have to file. Check it out in the link below. If you have any questions regarding taxes, leave them in the comments below. Our support team will try to answer it. And if we can't, we'll redirect you to our CPA. Anyway, that's all I have to say about taxes in this video. If you want to know the differences between single member LLC and multi-member LLC, watch this video next.